Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda and I am a neurodivergent, disabled, autistic, and ADHD woman with aphantasia and a rare memory disorder called SDAM. So along with the last couple videos, this one I'm going to be editing on my phone, so the editing isn't going to be as stellar as my usual videos because I am still in recovery from my foot surgery. Oh yeah, lovely bruise from the IVs. Anyway, but luckily I am able to edit a little bit on my phone. It's just not quite the same. But making these videos has helped kind of my recovery process. I just noticed this is a dog toy that is in timeout because the dogs got it, and this is my dragon named Kitty. Anyway, okay. Yes, making these videos has helped with the recovery process. And that's actually kind of what I want to talk about today in this video. I am proposing that recovery times for autistic and actually a lot of neurodivergent people are probably longer than neurotypical people. And I tried to do a little bit of research. I will admit it wasn't a deep dive, but even my first cursory glance did not come up with much. So I am putting this out there, and I would love to get y'all's feedback in the comment section, your experiences. I think a lot of this autism stuff is coming out newly, and hopefully researchers will, stumble upon my little channel and kind of look into this. When I tried to Google different things about our recovery times longer for autistic people, I got a lot of articles about anesthesia and autism. And oh gosh, one of them was terrible. It's from 2009 from autism.org, which I don't know anything about that website. I did not look into whether or not it is a website run with the support of actually autistic people. Like, we know that we want nothing to do with Autism Speaks because they do not listen to actually autistic voices. So I don't know anything about autism.org, but this particular article was left up. It's from 2009, and I will link it down in the description box below because, oh my god, so bad. It was talking about how talking about anesthesia and autism and behavioral problems of autistic children, and how some parents have thought that the anesthesia has caused a regression in their autistic children. And I am proposing that this is an incorrect take on this situation, because it kind of actually backs up what I'm feeling. But it's not a behavioral problem, people. This is called autistic burnout. And as an adult who can articulate better than a child, kind of want to explain my lived experience of recovering from a surgery as an autistic person. And like I mentioned, I have a memory disorder, but I want to kind of recall as much as I can about what it was like being autistic and pregnant, and that experience, and I was undiagnosed at that time. So I think that the recovery time takes longer for people who have autism or autistic people. I really do like, oh goodness, I forget the wording. I like to say I'm autistic. I do not like to say I'm a person with autism, but sometimes in sentences it flows to say it that way. But I feel like autism is me. I don't just have autism in a little bundle here. Okay, so I digress. I'm very STEMmy today. It's one thing that I love post-diagnosis. I'm just like trying to learn how to re-STEM because it was taught out of me. And some days it just feels good and I'm hurting in my body, and this is just like the hurt coming out. And it's part of this surgery recovery part. It's just like trying to get back to my body. Okay. Okay, I'm about ADHD too, so I'm trying to get back on my tangent. Okay, so recovery time longer because leading up to the surgery, I had so many anxieties. I talked to my therapist about it for a couple weeks leading up to the surgery, planning everything, trying to figure out all the things that I could pre-plan to make myself feel more comfortable after the surgery. And that included buying a scooter, doing a lot of research on getting crutches. I went with the fancy crutches, and then when they arrived, I hated them. So I ended up having to return them, and I ended up getting just cheap crutches. I thought the fancy ones would be easier to use, like the forearm ones, but I couldn't use them without putting weight down on my feet. Like, I think they would have been good if I just needed assistance walking, but not to keep my weight off my foot, at least for me. So I ended up going with the armpit, standard crutches that you see in America. Apparently the forearm crutches are more common in other countries. Like I said, I did a deep dive on researching types of crutches, okay? This is how an autistic brain prepares for surgery. And a lot of time, energy, and anxiety goes into these things. I was thinking about even things such as like going to the restroom where you cannot put weight down on your foot. And, I decided to buy a squatty potty, and it has been very helpful. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But if you are doing foot surgery and you don't already own a squatty potty, it's been helpful. But again, all these things. And today, my hair's still a little damp. 6 days post-surgery. It's the first day I've actually been able to take a shower. And it's probably why I have a little bit more energy today. Because right after the surgery, I did not have the energy to go upstairs. I didn't have it in me. So washcloth showering. And then before the surgery, I bought a boot cover for my thing so that it wouldn't get wet. And the one I bought did not fit. And so we had to order another one, and it came this morning, and I got to take a shower. And my doctor specifically recommended not to use the garbage bag method. And, being an autistic person who takes people literally and likes to follow the rules, I just was like, I can wait one more day because Amazon was going to do it next day shipping. I got the bigger one, got to take a shower. Anyway, but that was me sitting down on the steps, one step at a time, going up on my butt to get up and down the stairs. So I've been mostly living in my office here. But all of that anxiety built up before surgery, then having surgery, which is trauma on any human body. Anesthesia is not, nobody takes that lightly. And then having a nerve block on my foot. Oh, I don't know if I talked about that in the last video. I think maybe I did. I wasn't expecting the nerve block. Like, obviously, I'm sure they mentioned it to me, but I did not intellectualize what that would actually mean. And the fact that when I woke up and I could not feel my foot caused me a lot of panic. Even though intellectually I knew it was okay, my brain kept telling me that there was no blood to my foot and that it was going to fall off. And I was having a lot of anxiety, and I had to take an anxiety pill. And once the nerve block wore off and I felt pain, my brain was like, oh yeah, pain, we're good with that. We know what pain is. But the nerve block, my brain did not know what to do with. So I think when this article was pointing to a regression of children after a procedure, there's so many sensory things going on. The nerve block, waking up from the surgery, like change of your routine, like recovering from surgery. I'm in a different space in my bedroom. I'm sleeping different hours right now. I'm eating different foods right now because I'm having to have some help relying on meals when I normally prep my own food. Now for a kid that might not be the case, but maybe they'd have to be on different diet after their surgery. Like change of routine often will cause meltdowns. and meltdowns after meltdowns lead to autistic burnout, which in another video I talk about autistic burnout can lead to autistic regression of skills. So it's not necessarily that the anesthesia causes regression, like chemically. It's that in my lived experience opinion, it's that all of the things after surgery and messing with sensory and routine causes meltdowns, which cause burnout, which cause regression. So I think that it just takes longer for us to recover because all my body can deal with right now is recovering. I can't deal with the other things that I need to do in my life because all my energy and focus and brain power is going, like, for instance, to not ripping this horrid thing off my foot. It feels like I'm wearing 3 socks of different textures that have all bagged down, and I'm having to walk, even though I'm not putting weight on it. Feels like when you're on a hike and you're wearing like rain boots and your sock falls down and your foot gets wet or sweaty and it's tickly and it's moist, even though, well, right now I have like my little toe cap on because my toes are cold, but I'm trying to let it breathe too because it's wrapped up, it's getting sweaty. The sensory, like this morning I was having to like take deep breaths, like, Amanda, you can't take it off. You cannot take this thing off your foot. And if I was a kid without language skills to be able to express that, like, I know that if this thing was on my teenage daughter Izzy, we would be going back to the doctor's office and being like, we have to come up with another solution. She can't deal with this. As an adult, it's really hard, but I can deal with it, but it's really hard. Like, the sensory of this splint on my foot, again, it's taking all of my focus. Like, so it's gonna just take longer for me to recover. I had someone tell me before my surgery, they're like, oh, you know, it'll be fine. You're gonna get your surgery, you'll rest for a couple days, and then with your little knee scooter, you'll be up and about and back to doing things. And I think for a neurotypical person, that's the case. Like, my pain level's not that bad, but I can't do the things. Recovering is the thing that I can do right now. So I'm recovering, and it's going to take longer than it would be for a neurotypical person. And if I was an autistic person who had to hold a job, this is why it's a disability. This is why it's a disability, because I wouldn't be able to right now. And then I mentioned earlier at the beginning a little bit about my pregnancy. So laying here, kind of like this aha moment, because when I was pregnant with twins, I know that I had the thought, how do women carry a baby and do anything else? Like, and then we found out I was having twins. Like, I just knew I was pregnant at first, and I slept through almost my first trimester. Then we found out we were having those twins, and so we put it off to that, but that still didn't quite fit, because I know a lot of twin moms who also worked during the twin pregnancy up until, like, some of them worked all the way up till 36 weeks, and which is like full term for a twin pregnancy. And then some of them had a bed rest earlier, you know, different things. I had bed rest at the last 8.5 weeks of my pregnancy and delivered at 35 weeks. But my first trimester, I slept the whole thing. And like I said, when we found out it was twins, we thought it was twins because I wasn't diagnosed with autism at that point. So we just like, oh, you must just need a lot more rest because you're carrying twins. But I'm like, well, the other twin moms can do it. Why can't I? Like, again, I was autistic and didn't know it. I think growing 1 or 2 babies was all my body could do, which is not to say that it's not a lot. It was a lot. But I could, like, that, being autistic and pregnant and trying to do other normal activities of your life, it's just not going to compute. And I say this too, like autistic fathers too, even though they're not carrying the child. And I'm sorry if I'm not using gender exclusive terms right now. My brain is trying to catch up to that, but I'm not. Just please insert correct gender and terms appropriately right now, because I'm very inclusive, but my language isn't working right now for that. But so I'm just saying, for the person carrying the baby, very, very a lot if you're autistic, but even if you are an autistic partner who isn't carrying the baby, your routine and everything is going to be changed up too. So it is still going to be difficult for you also. Maybe less so than the person actually's body who's changing sensory wise, but a partner is still going to be going through changes of routine because of the pregnancy. But then go on to my C-section. So that was all, again, lots of stress, anxiety. I wasn't planning on getting a C-section. It was not that it wasn't in the cards, like my doctor was preparing me for the possibility, but we had hoped to have a natural birth. And then for reasons, I had a C-section, and that could be its own whole video, which I'm not going to tangent into that video. And so I had an epidural, and so I've had that nerve block feeling before, but again, I have a memory disorder, so I actually did not think about it, but I know a lot of people can't remember pain, but I don't remember entire experiences. Like, I have a memory disorder. I don't remember being pregnant. I don't remember like the feeling, the emotion, the events of being pregnancy. I don't remember the birth. I just have like facts and stories about it, and you can see some of my other videos on my memory. I don't want to digress too far into that, but I think the nerve block, the epidural, I now kind of sort of, with this experience, know that it happened, but I think having twins and like little babies was enough of a distraction that the fact that I couldn't feel my toes didn't freak me out. Or possibly, and again, I don't remember it, maybe the nurses warned me more about it, and because I have a memory disorder, that event is separate from this event. So maybe the doctor told me I was going to have a nerve block, assumed because he knew I had a C-section, I would put those together and wake up knowing I shouldn't feel my foot. I did not put it together. I don't know why, I just didn't. So it freaked me out this time. For some reason, I don't remember using words around my memory is very complicated, but I don't have any stories or like facts of knowing that I was upset about the nerve block from my pregnancy. But again, there was so much going on with like, boom, you now got babies. Like, maybe it's more distraction. I don't know. I think recovery from a C-section went, because I know it went fairly smoothly, because I know that a lot of people have really complications with C-section recoveries, and mine went very smoothly. I think having no one expect me to do anything but take care of those babies and sleep and nurse and just do that, and I had no other expectations put on me, I was able to recover on my own time. And nobody's putting expectations on me for my recovery time here too. I just, like, I know that people who've had this foot surgery, within a couple of days, they're up and active, more, like using their knee scooter. They still can't put weight on their knees or foot, but I'm still at a point where it's like, I'm going to be sitting here in this bed doing as little possible, recovering for at least another week, I'm imagining. I don't know. We'll see. I'm taking it day by day, doing what I can when I feel like it, and then just trying to rest as much as I can. So I'm gonna wrap this video up. I just wanted to kind of relay my lived experience and how I really do think that recovery time for autistic and other neurodivergent people is longer because of the experiences of our neurodivergency. And I would love to hear your insights, thoughts, and aha moments if this resonates with you. And until the next one, guys, bye.